The State Department is determined to protect Americans' right to free speech and to counter the malign influence and actions of the Chinese Communist Party. The bottom line, we are using and will continue to use every tool in our tool chest to make sure that we know who it is who wants to come into this country and if they should be allowed to come in. Every sovereign nation has a right to secure its borders and to make sure they know who is in their nation and if they are safe to be here.
Yes.
I know you've got a few things on your mind.
Well, yes. So I assume you were being sarcastic when you said that. I know none of you have any questions.
Of course, yes. Sarcasm is my favorite thing.
So anyway, I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
But I'll keep them brief. On the visa policy, specifically as it relates to China and the Chinese students. The statement that came out last night was, it wasn't very specific, shall we say, about what affiliations with the Chinese Communist Party and what critical areas of study would be applicants for visas under those would be, would be subjected to more scrutiny. So I'm wondering if there is an answer to what is the actual, Chinese Communist Party affiliation that would make you ineligible for a visa, or what are examples of the critical areas in which we'll be subject to?
Well, since starting here at the State Department in January, I've been impressed with a number of things, most everything, but also learning about the nature of the visas, and I've said here regularly, many people watching around the world might not know, is that we don't give details about what our methods are regarding visas. Of course, everyone is vetted. I think if you've gone through the process, it's about filing for a visa, and then you have to have a meeting. And you do it in your home country, your consulate, your embassy. And that's the process. So there is a vetting, there always has been. What we don't discuss, again, because of privacy issues, but also because it's different for each person, that there are a series of dynamics that can be applied, questions that can be asked, issues looked at, and we use every tool that we have to vet and to make sure we know who's coming in. In this particular case, the United States is putting America first by beginning to revoke visas of Chinese students as warranted, including those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party, as you mentioned, Matt, or studying in critical fields, and enhancing scrutiny of visas for all Chinese nationals, including Hong Kong passport holders. I will not be getting into the details, not only of what the details are regarding the scrutiny and the methods regarding the visa itself, but also when it comes to critical fields. I was rather pleased, having seen very often announcements that don't really give any information, and there's reasons for that, for national security, because there's negotiations, it's diplomatic, et cetera, or giving away the nature of how we choose to do things might give up our hand and make certain things less effective. In this case, when we think of critical fields, which is obviously a very specific phrase, we think about national security, the nature of how we keep America safe and secure and more prosperous. And it is important to have, I think, a broad base, because that could mean something different to many people. It could mean many things. And this is going to be up to the people making the decisions. And I think that that's in the framework of what we've discussed regarding the visa actions as well when it comes to keeping America safe. The United States, I further can say here, will not tolerate the CCP's exploitation of U.S. universities or theft of U.S. research, intellectual property, or technologies to grow its military power, conduct intelligence collection, or repress voices of opposition. The Trump administration is focused on protecting our nation and our citizens by upholding our national security and public safety through our visa process, obviously very openly and transparently applied by Secretary Marco Rubio. Every visa adjudication is a national security decision, every single one of them. Every prospective traveler to the United States undergoes interagency security vetting. Prohibiting entry to the United States by those who might pose a threat to U.S. national security or public safety is key to protecting U.S. citizens at home. So we've experienced this through these last several weeks. It is something that is at the heart and really at the front line of protecting the country. And we're taking it seriously, and we're being open about the nature of what's happening in this particular instance.
So could I just ask that last bit that you just said, which was not in the statement last night and is a little bit more specific about.
Oh yeah, about the nature of
just
the
that
theft
last-
of certain things.
Yes,
Well,
the
we
last bit.
again, and as reporters here all and curious people, you know the nature of what China has been doing about with technology, right? Stealing information, intellectual property, U.S. research, copyrights, etc. This is not new or confusing, and this is one way that we certainly can try to mitigate that issue.